Alright, so now that I have had the requisite amount of alcohol and caffeine, we're ready to shoot another video.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About Shit, NerdProQuo's Let's Talk About Shit show where we talk about shit. Bears!
Bears! We're gonna talk about bears.
It's just a bear.
It's a bear. Not like a gay hairy bear, though that's okay too.
Or like a platypus bear.
Yeah.
Or a lizard bear. It's
just a bear.
Weird.
This place is weird. So this video is about how Legend of Korra killed my parents.
For those of you who don't know, we use the term "killed your parents" when a franchise or series or any sort of ongoing thing, could be movies, does something that just makes it so that you cannot watch it anymore. Usually, this came from our experiences with anime originally, when Naruto wouldn't stop, or when Bleach wouldn't stop, or when Soul Eater started.
It eventually reaches a point where no reasonable human being can continue to watch the show, and that is the point where it kills your parents,
and that's why you can't do it.
Now, to be fair, my bar is pretty low for parent killing. I get bored, it offends me, it upsets me, or just gets shitty.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason here why it killed your parents is the interesting thing.
Yeah. No, here's the reason why.
It's politics.
Yeah, everything that. Yeah, it killed my parents. I feel like this show is dealing with very complicated issues in an extremely non-nuanced, extremely frustrating way. We saw the first season of Legend of Korra. Now, to be fair, I didn't watch the second season.
Oh, by the way, guys, spoilers out the ding dong.
So many fucking spoilers, bro.
If you don't want the Legend of Korra spoiled for you,
you best mosey the fuck along and watch the other videos, because this one is gonna wreck your shit. Now I'm gonna kill your parents. Okay, so here's my problem. Here's my problem with this. Also, I'm wearing the same shitty, dirty clothes because I came from work. It's the last video. We're just shooting them sequentially and releasing them over time because of reasons. Okay, so
don't give it away.
I don't know.
We shoot these the day of for every video, and our dress is just coincidental.
Anyway. So the reason why Legend of Korra killed my parents, we're dealing with issues of inequality and power in the first season. And Amon is this populist leader who, in the end, and let's remember that Republic City is basically controlled by benders. There are no characters that are, significant characters that are not benders, with the exception of Asami and Asami's dad. And Asami's dad ends up being evil.
That happens.
Yeah, that happens a lot. So you end up kind of in this situation where there's this populist leader, and he, rather than like thinking about and talking about and discussing like some of the issues that Amon brings up, it's like, we need to punch this guy till he is not a threat anymore. Like, that's really the solution they come to. He's a fraud, he's a phony, which, and you know what, if this had just happened and that was just a story, I'd be like, okay, they crammed a little bit too much into that last episode, but alright. There is...
Yeah, they didn't, I don't think anyone actually liked the end of the last two episodes.
Yeah, but let me explain why it's politically problematic. There's this trend in media where populist leaders are generally portrayed as frauds. They're frauds, they're exploitative, they're dangerous, they shouldn't be believed. Even though Amon brought up what I thought was a pretty legitimate point. All of society is controlled and dictated by one class of people who happen to be born better than normal people, because they have magical powers.
Magical powers, yeah.
That's a good question. That's something like legitimate to bring up. And in the end, the person bringing up that question was a fraud. And you see this in a lot of pieces of media. You see that in The Dark Knight Rises, where there are these populist leaders who end up being violent, vicious frauds who are not to be trusted.
Actually, and even though I'm not, I hope that Season 3 actually brings good things, so I might not be on board with the killed your parents notion. In Season 2, they kind of did the same thing, where, like, the spiritual... Southern, I think it was. Mr. Bear, was it Southern that Uncle Obviously Evil was leading? No? Was it Northern? I don't know. One of the
you're asking a fucking bear. He's not gonna
Bear should know.
Nice try, Bear.
Anyway, the Southern, the Korra's uncle, was leading a tribe that was all about tradition and and honoring the spirits, and once again had good points. There was this whole like civil war going on, which was compelling. And if they just approach that from like an honest perspective of here's one tribe that believes in one traditional religious thing and one tribe that believes in modernization, and see how they interact, that would be cool. But it turned out that Uncle Obviously Evil just wanted to grow into a giant spirit monster by merging with a dark being and becoming the anti-Avatar.
Now, my friend Dan Scribner, great writer. I don't know if there's a link for the doobly-doo. Great writer.
Possible link?
He's working on a great comic called The Pepper Chronicles, which we can link in the doobly-doo.
Okay.
His assessment of that second season was that girl should listen to paternal figure, doesn't listen to the paternal figure, should have listened to the other paternal figure, everything goes wrong. Which is not a gender positive message.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch that season, to be fair, so I don't really have a critique on that. Tried again on the third season, watched a couple episodes, they're poaching, air bison, that's interesting, and here's a little bit about Korra, and that's interesting. And then it's like, but what are the villains this time? Oh, they're anarchists. Now,
and actually, that took me totally by surprise, because I found all the villains in the third season really interesting. Like, I dug how Zahir, who is the main villain, was really into airbenders and really into culture and really poetic, and I thought that they were doing a sort of gentle villain thing. The fact that they're members of the Red Lotus, which is like the White Lotus, except just fuck all society, apparently.
It's this idea the idea that people, and the points that he bring up really frustrate. If he's just a crazy guy who wants to do crazy, destroy the government shit, okay, I guess it's shallow and stupid. But
he's voiced by Henry Rollins too, which actually
that's even more disappointing.
That
really?
makes me, really,
come on, Henry, you know better than this. This idea that anarchism as a political philosophy is constantly misportrayed in the media as this idea that, we just want to tear everything down and burn everything up. And yes, there are people who believe that. There are anarchists who believe that. But through the vast majority of history, if you look at the roots of anarchism, if you read stuff by Emma Goldman and other legit anarchist thinkers, David Graeber, Howard Zinn, nobody likes to talk about it. Howard Zinn is fucking anarchist, dude.
Yeah, if you actually want a crash course on anarchy, watch John Green's Crash Course video.
Crash Course
it's actually...
Is it actually good, or is it gonna...
It's really good.
Or is John Green gonna kill my parents?
No, he doesn't kill your parents. He talks about how civilization is always sort of framed as this better state. And talks about a lot of examples in history where there are people who fled from civilization.
Now you see, this is already killing my parents, because not the majority of anarchists are not anti-civilization.
Well, it wasn't about anarchy in particular. It was about the merits and flaws in civilization and how we approach it.
Sure, but also you got to remember that anarchists are not against civilization. Some anarcho-primitivists are. Those people are jackasses. Yes. I love how people on Tumblr and Facebook are anarcho-primitivists. That's really fucking adorable.
Still watch it. He doesn't actually say that this is what anarchists believe. He talks about anarchy in the frame of what anarchists believe.
Yeah.
But then also talks about other, like back in the Indus Valley civilizations.
Sure. But you should really read some Emma Goldman if you want some actual anarchist philosophy by anarchists. The thing is, it creates this character who's like, he questions, the viability of the state. He questions, authority and hierarchy, and then his solution that he comes to is the dumbest one possible, which is we should return to state of nature and just everybody does what they want, which is completely the opposite of what anarchism actually is. And between the first and the second season, they're constantly portraying nuanced, progressive, interesting ideas as the boogeyman. They're the bad guys. They're the ones you shouldn't trust. And that's really frustrating. It's also really conservative in a fucked up, simplistic, non-nuanced way. If you want to write a non-nuanced show, go for it. But don't try and address nuanced political ideas. You're going to kill my parents.
You know what I'm actually hoping for? So first of all, Bolin starts getting chummy with the villains in the last episode, which made me a little hopeful that they're going to pull an end of season 2 on this one. And by that I don't mean... Korra turns into Ultraman and fights the giant tentacle monster. By that I mean, which is actually how season 2 ended.
Mr. Bear, do you like the Ultraman super monster?
What I hope that they do
at
the end of season 2, Korra basically, so she defeats Uncle Obviously Evil, but then goes, he was right. he was just going about it the wrong way. A lot like Tails' series antagonist, it would be great if he just stopped killing people. So she let the spirit world and the normal world merge and let spirits, go by. And I kind of hope that they pull that again, where, like, so Zahir's a fucktard, but, like, his points were good, and Korra comes to realize that.
And if that happens, awesome. And I gotta say also, like, the solution to, like, ending your problems, like, I get it's a fucking martial arts show, like, I get that. And it's a kid's show. But the fact that I'm maneuvering around the camera because we have a timer going and we want to make sure that we stay within time.
Don't just tools of the don't tell us.
I'm telling them things. I'm gonna tell them the
secrets.
truth. The what the fuck was I even saying? That you fucking.
I don't know. Fuck you.
God fucking damn.
You were saying that they're fighting all the time.
Yeah. Okay. I get that it's a kids show, but if you're gonna have these nuanced ideas, like what about turning your enemies into friends? My wife, who is Jewish, currently being portrayed by a bear, said that one of parts of Jewish philosophy is that there are people who turn enemies into friends. And if Korra, somebody who's there to bring balance to the world, if that's her job to bring balance, and shouldn't she be turning her enemies into friends? Wouldn't it be a more nuanced and a more positive message to be giving to children, that she turns her enemies into friends, that she brings them around, that she convinces
they
them
did
of
that
the
in
rightness
season
of
1
their ways?
with Zuko.
Yeah,
Season
they
1?
did. They sure did. And did they set it up? Yeah, they set it up. But and it's frustrating to me that the Legend of Korra has gone the way it is. I feel like it's capable of so much more, and I don't know if that's the fault of the creators or the fault of Nickelodeon. But either way, I'm really disappointed, and I don't think I'm going to be watching the show anymore. To be fair, you weren't getting any money out of me anyway. I was downloading the shit.
Fair enough.
So what do you think about that? I think that came out pretty good.
They
ate the bear!
Next time we talk about a dead bear.
Okay.
Turn off the camera. Turn off the camera.
Okay,
Turn off
okay,
the camera.
all right.
Turn off the camera!
Can I eat the bear? Can I eat the bear?
No.
Oh.